Look, have you ever noticed how some women seem to effortlessly make men fall deeply in love with them, while other women who are just as beautiful, just as intelligent, just as kind, get overlooked? It feels unfair. But it's not luck. It's not magic. It's psychology. There are specific triggers inside the male mind, psychological mechanisms that, when activated, make a man feel something he has never felt before, something he cannot explain. Something that makes him think about her at 2 a.m. Something that makes him want to protect her, pursue her, and never let her go. Today, I am going to reveal 7 of those secrets. And before we begin, I need to tell you something important. These are not tricks. These are not manipulation tactics. These are deep psychological truths about how human attachment, desire, and emotional bonding actually work. Understanding them doesn't make you manipulative. It makes you aware. Think about it. A doctor who understands disease is not a disease. A psychologist who understands manipulation is not a manipulator. Knowledge is power. And today, that power is yours. On this channel, we decode the hidden science of human behavior, the psychology that drives attraction, love, and connection. If you're watching for the first time, welcome. If you've been here before, you already know we don't deal in surface-level advice here. We go deep. We go psychological. This video is specifically about female psychology and its relationship to male attraction. We are going to explore 7 secrets, rooted in attachment theory, behavioral psychology, and the neuroscience of love, that explain exactly why men fall deeply and permanently for certain women. Stay until the end. Because secret 7 is the one most women never discover. And it is the secret that changes everything. The first idea is this: men do not fall in love with what they fully understand. They fall in love with what they cannot stop thinking about. Let me explain the psychology behind this. The human brain has a fascinating mechanism called the Zygarnik effect. This was discovered by Soviet psychologist Bluma Zygarnik in the 1920s. She noticed something strange: waiters in a cafe could remember every detail of an unpaid order. The moment the bill was settled, they forgot it completely. The brain cannot let go of incomplete things, unfinished patterns, open loops. This is why we stay awake thinking about an argument that never got resolved. This is why we replay a conversation that ended strangely. Our minds obsess over incompleteness. Now apply this to attraction. When a woman reveals everything about herself in the first conversation, her entire past, her fears, her family drama, her relationship history, the man's brain registers, complete. File closed. Nothing more to discover. But when a woman is warm and engaging and yet still holds something back, when she smiles and says, "I'll tell you that story another time," when she has a quiet depth that seems to go further than he can see, his brain registers, open loop, incomplete, must return. Think about it. The most memorable people in your life are not the ones who told you everything immediately. They are the ones who made you feel there was always more to discover. Now, I want to be very specific here. Mystery is not coldness. It is not playing games. It is not being emotionally unavailable. Mystery is simply this: having a life that is rich, deep, and full, and choosing what to share and when. A woman who is passionate about her career, her art, her personal growth, her friendships. A woman who is genuinely invested in her own becoming. She is naturally mysterious, because she has depths that cannot be exhausted in a single conversation. Men don't fall in love with women who are simple to understand. They fall in love with women who continuously surprise them. Another truth: familiarity reduces desire. This is backed by research. The more predictable someone becomes, the less our dopamine system activates around them. Dopamine, the neurochemical of pursuit and reward, thrives on novelty and uncertainty. This does not mean you should be fake or calculated. It means you should never stop growing, never stop evolving. Never give him every piece of yourself before he has earned the right to understand you. Your mystery is not a strategy. It is a standard. Second, there is a phenomenon in neuroscience that fundamentally changes how we understand human connection. It is called mirror neurons. In the 1990s, Italian neuroscientist Giacomo Rizzolatti discovered something remarkable. When we observe another person performing an action or expressing an emotion, certain neurons in our brain fire as if we were performing that action ourselves. This is the neurological basis of empathy. and it has profound implications for attraction. Here is what this means in practical terms. When you genuinely feel an emotion in someone's presence, when you allow yourself to be moved, delighted, curious, or warm, the person with you feels an echo of that same emotion. Not because you told them to feel it, not because you asked for it, but because their brain is literally mirroring yours. Women who are emotionally present, who genuinely laugh when something is funny, who show real curiosity when they are interested, who allow their eyes to reflect what they feel, create a neurological resonance in the men around them. He leaves the conversation and thinks, I felt something around her. I don't know what it was, but I want to feel it again, that feeling. It is not magic. It is mirror neurons. But here is the other side of this secret, and this is crucial. Emotional mirroring is not performance. It is not forced positivity or fake enthusiasm. In fact, performed emotion has the opposite effect. Men can unconsciously detect inauthenticity. Their nervous system registers it as a threat. No, real mirroring is real presence. It means, when you are with him, you are actually with him. Not on your phone, not thinking about tomorrow, not managing your image, fully present. Genuinely interested, authentically responding. Presence is one of the rarest gifts one human being can offer another, and it is deeply, profoundly attractive. Let me give you a real example. I once spoke with a man, highly successful, very attractive, had dated many women, who described falling in love with someone who, by his own admission, was not the most conventionally beautiful woman he had ever dated. When I asked him why he fell for her, he said, when I talked to her, it felt like nothing else existed. She looked at me like what I was saying actually mattered. I have never felt that before. That is the power of emotional presence. That is mirror neuron resonance in action. Another thing most people ignore. Laughter is one of the most powerful bonding chemicals known to psychology. Genuine, shared laughter creates oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It creates a sense of we between two people. A woman who laughs easily, not artificially but genuinely, who finds real humor in the absurdities of life, who can make a man feel lighter in her presence. She is giving him something most people never give him. She is giving him relief, joy, resonance, and the brain tags that relief with one label, her. Now the most important part so far, and this requires your full attention. Attachment theory was developed by British psychologist John Bowlby in the 1960s, and later expanded by researchers like Mary Ainsworth and Sue Johnson. It is arguably the most important psychological framework for understanding why people fall in love and why they stay. The theory states that every human being develops an attachment style in early childhood, a fundamental emotional blueprint for how they relate to intimacy, closeness, and vulnerability. There are four primary attachment styles: secure, anxious, avoidant, fearful avoidant. But for the purposes of this video, I want to focus on one specific dynamic, the dynamic that either creates deep love or destroys it before it can begin. Here is the truth most people never understand. You cannot make a man love you, but you can become the kind of person who activates his capacity for secure attachment. Let me explain what that means. Men with avoidant attachment, and this is very common in men who appear emotionally unavailable, are not incapable of love. They are afraid of it. Specifically, they are afraid of the vulnerability that love requires. When they were young, closeness was often followed by pain, by abandonment, by disappointment. So their nervous system learned a protective strategy: stay independent, don't need anyone, stay in control now. When a woman pursues an avoidant man intensely, when she texts constantly, when she needs reassurance frequently, when she becomes anxious about the relationship, his defense mechanism activates. He pulls back, not because he doesn't feel something, because he does. And that feeling terrifies him. This is the anxious avoidant trap, and it destroys more relationships than almost anything else. So what does a psychologically aware woman do instead? She understands this pattern, and she refuses to enter it. She does not chase. She does not pursue obsessively. She does not make her emotional well-being dependent on his response time. Instead, she does something far more powerful. She becomes a safe harbor, safety. This is the word that unlocks a man's heart. Men, particularly men with avoidant patterns, are starving for emotional safety. They want to feel that closeness will not destroy them, that vulnerability will not be used against them, that love does not have to mean losing themselves. A woman who is emotionally secure, who does not punish him for needing space, who does not interpret silence as rejection, who can hold her own emotional stability while remaining warm and open, becomes over time something he has never experienced before, a safe place. And when a man finds a safe place, he does not leave it. Think about it. For most men, the world is a constant performance. At work, you must be strong. With friends, you cannot show weakness. Even in family, vulnerability is often penalized. A woman who communicates through her behavior, not her words, "You can be yourself here. You do not have to perform for me. I'm not going anywhere." That woman activates something primal in the male psyche, not just attraction. Deeper than attraction, attachment. Let me tell you something that modern culture has deeply confused. Strength and femininity are not opposites. They are not in conflict. In fact, true feminine strength is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. Here is the psychological reality. Masculine and feminine energy exist on a spectrum. Every person contains both. But in romantic attraction, polarity is essential. Polarity is the difference in energy that creates chemistry. The space between two magnets. When that space disappears, when both people operate from the same energy, the attraction fades. What does this mean practically? When a woman is constantly in her masculine energy around a man, always leading, always solving, always directing, she is not wrong or weak, but she is occupying the same energetic space as him. And chemistry requires difference. Feminine energy is not weakness. It is warmth, the ability to nurture and receive. It is receptivity, the capacity to allow, not just initiate. It is emotional depth, the courage to feel fully. It is presence, being here now, alive to this moment. Men do not fall in love with women who need them to survive. That is neediness, not femininity. Men fall in love with women who choose them while remaining complete in themselves. There is a profound difference. A woman who is needy says, "I need you to be okay." A woman who is in her feminine says, "I want you here, but I am whole without you." That distinction between needing and choosing is the difference between desperation and desire. Men instinctively sense this difference, and the choosing is infinitely more attractive than the needing. Research by psychologist Albert Mehrabian established that 55% of emotional communication is nonverbal. Body language. 38% is tonality, the sound of your voice. Only 7% is the actual words we use. This means, what you say to a man is far less important than how your body says it. There are specific nonverbal signals wired deep into human evolutionary psychology, signals that communicate safety, attraction, and bonding without a single word. Let me walk you through the most powerful ones. Eye contact. Specifically, the 3-second rule. Research from psychologist Arthur Aaron, who studied how strangers fall in love, found that sustained eye contact of 3 to 4 seconds significantly increases feelings of intimacy and connection. Not starring. Not avoidance. A calm, warm, 3-second gaze. This activates oxytocin release in both people. The eyes are the only part of the brain directly exposed to the outside world. When you look into someone's eyes with genuine warmth, not performance, genuine warmth, their nervous system reads, "I am seen. I am safe." Proximity. The human nervous system registers closeness as intimacy. When a woman naturally moves slightly closer in a conversation, not dramatically, subtly, it creates an unconscious signal of comfort and openness. Touch anchoring. Brief, appropriate touch, a light touch on the forearm when laughing, a gentle hand on the shoulder when saying goodbye creates neurological anchoring. The brain associates the emotion of that moment with the person who touched them. This is not about physical attraction alone. It is about emotional memory. He may not consciously remember the touch, but he will remember how he felt around her. Voice tone. Lower, slower, softer speech tonality communicates confidence and emotional security. Research shows that men find a calm, warm voice deeply attractive. Signals she is not anxious, not desperate, not performing. She is comfortable in her own presence. Another thing most people ignore. Subconscious body mirroring creates rapport. When you subtly adopt the posture or rhythm of someone you are with, not copying them mechanically, naturally, their brain interprets this as, we are the same. She understands me. These signals, layered together, create a neurological experience he cannot fully articulate. He simply knows, I feel good when I am with her. And that feeling becomes love. This is one of the most counterintuitive truths in all of relationship psychology. Stay with me here. Here is the paradox. The more you seek a man's approval, the less attractive you become to him. And the less you need his approval, the more he wants to give it to you. Why? Because approval-seeking signals a belief. Your opinion of me is more important than my opinion of myself. And that belief, however understandable, however human, registers in a man's subconscious as low self-worth. Men are not consciously cruel about this. It is not a judgment. It is a hardwired evolutionary response. Status, the ability to command respect from others, was a critical survival signal. We are all wired to find high-status individuals more attractive, and genuine self-worth is the highest status signal there is. Think about it. When a woman laughs at everything he says, agrees with everything he thinks, changes her opinions to match his, asks constantly, "Are you okay? Are you happy? Did I do something wrong?" He may enjoy this initially. The ego likes to be stroked, but over time something shifts. He stops feeling attracted. He starts feeling bored, maybe even slightly contemptuous. He cannot explain it, but he knows, no. The woman who is most attractive is the woman who has a clear sense of herself. She has opinions she maintains respectfully even under pressure. She has standards she does not abandon. She has joy that does not depend on his mood. She has a life that does not collapse in his absence. She is not cold. She is not arrogant. She is simply complete. And a man who encounters completeness in a woman does not want to walk away from it. He wants to be part of it. He wants to be worthy of it. Let me give you a real example. I once spoke with a woman who bent herself into every shape her partner wanted. Whatever he liked, she liked. Whatever he needed, she provided. She thought this was love. She thought this was how you keep someone. She lost herself. And eventually she lost him too, because love cannot attach to someone who isn't fully there. If you erase yourself to keep someone, you have given them nothing real to hold on to. Your standards, your preferences, your convictions, these are not obstacles to love. They are the architecture of a self-worth loving. And now, Secret 7. The one I mentioned at the beginning that most women never discover. Listen carefully. All the secrets we have discussed, mystery, mirroring, attachment, polarity, body language, self-worth, they are all ultimately expressions of one singular truth. The deepest, most irreversible form of love is not built on attraction. It is not built on chemistry. It is not built on shared interests or physical beauty or even emotional resonance. It is built on one thing, emotional safety. And this is what most women are never taught. Men, particularly men who have been hurt, who have performed strength for the world, who have been told that emotion is weakness, are carrying an invisible loneliness they cannot even name. They want to be known, really known, not just admired, not just desired, known. And they are terrified to let that happen. Because every time they have shown themselves before, it ended in pain, in humiliation, in abandonment, so they built walls, perfectly constructed, invisible from the outside, a woman who can make a man feel safe behind those walls, not by demanding he tear them down, not by trying to climb over them, but simply by sitting quietly outside them, warm and patient and real. This woman does something almost no one else has ever done for him. She waits for him without making him feel guilty for needing time. She is honest without being brutal. She is warm without being suffocating. She creates a space where he can make mistakes and not lose everything. She lets him be human. And that experience of being fully seen and fully accepted, that is what breaks through every wall. That is what makes a man fall in love not just with who she is, but with the feeling of existing in her presence. Because the deepest truth of human attachment is this: we do not fall in love with people. We fall in love with how we feel when we are with them. And if you can become the woman in whose presence a man feels safe to be real, to be vulnerable, to be imperfect, and to be loved anyway, you will not need to chase him. You will not need to compete for his attention. You will not need to wonder if he loves you. Because the strongest position in love is not needing someone to complete you, but choosing them with a full heart and offering them a place where they can finally completely rest. These are the 7 secrets, not tricks, not tactics, truths, the mystery that keeps his mind returning, the mirroring that creates invisible bonds, the attachment that builds a safe harbor, the polarity that creates real chemistry, the subconscious signals beneath all words, the self-worth that makes you worth pursuing, and the emotional safety that makes him stay. If this video changed the way you see yourself, or the way you see the people in your life, share it with someone who needs to hear it.